Learning with L&R, and today we are going to discuss about the new topic, that is urinary tract infections or UTI in children. Prevalence and etiology of this topic. Urinary tract infections occur in 1 to 3% of girls and 1% of boys. In girls, the first UTI usually occur by the age of 5 years, with peaks during infancy and toilet training. In boys, most UTI occurs during the first year of life. UTIs are much more common in uncircumcised boys, especially in first year of life. Then, prevalence by age. The prevalence of UTIs varies with age. During the first year of life, the male-female ratio is 2.8 to 5.4 ratio 1. Beyond 1 to 2 years, there is a female preponderance with a male-female ratio of 1 ratio 10. Then etiology. UTIs are caused mainly by colonic bacteria. In girls, E. coli and Klebsiella and Proteus mainly responsible about 75 to 90% of cases. And some series report that in boys, the Proteus, E. coli and gram-positive organism are responsible between the age of more than 1 year. Streptococcus, Saprophylaticus and Enterococcus are pathogens in both gender, which are responsible to spread the infection such as UTI. Clinical manifestations and classifications. The three basic forms of UTI are pyelonephritis, cystitis and asymptomatic bacteria. Cystitis means inflammation of the bladder, and pyelonephritis, the clinical pyelonephritis is characterized by any of the following, like abdominal, back or flank pain, fever, malaise, nausea, vomiting and occasionally diarrhea also present. Fever may be the only manifestation of UTI. Then newborns can show non-specific symptoms such as poor feeding, irritability, jaundice and weight loss. Pyelonephritis is most common serious bacterial infection in infants less than 24 months of age who have fever without an obvious focus. These symptoms are an indication that there is bacterial involvement of the upper urinary tract. Involvement of renal parenchyma is termed acute pyelonephritis, whereas if there is no parenchymal involvement, the condition may be termed pyelitis. If the renal parenchyma involved, then acute pyelonephritis, and if not involved, then pyelitis. Acute pyelonephritis can result in renal injury, it's known as pyelonephritis scarring. Cystitis, it is the inflammation of the bladder, indicates that there is bladder involvement. Symptoms include dysuria, urgency, frequency, then suprapubic pain, incontinence and malodorous urine. Cystitis does not cause fever and does not result in renal injury. Malodorous urine is not specific for a UTI. Then pathogenesis and pathology. Most UTIs are ascending infections. The bacteria rise from the fecal flora, colonize the perineum and enter the bladder via the urethra. Then uncircumcised boys, the bacterial pathogens arise from the flora beneath the prepuce. In some cases, the bacteria causing cystitis ascend to the kidney to cause pyelonephritis. Rarely, the renal infection occurs by hematogenous spread as in endocarditis or in some neonates. Risk factors for urinary tract infections. Uncircumcised male, if they wear tight clothing. Female gender, mainly caused by pinworm infection. Then vesicular urethral reflex, constipation, toilet training, bacteria with P. fimbriae, voiding dysfunction, anatomic abnormalities, obstructive uropathy, neuropathic bladder, urethral instrumentation, sexual activity and wiping from back to front in girls, that is pregnancy. Diagnosis. UTIs may be suspected based on symptoms or finding of urine analysis or both. A urine culture is unnecessary for confirmation and appropriate therapy. In toilet-trained children, a mid-stream urine sample usually is satisfactory. The introitus should be cleaned before obtaining the specimen. In uncircumcised boys, the prepuce must be retracted. In children who are not toilet trained, a catheterized urine sample should be obtained. Alternatively, the application of the adhesive sealed sterile collecting bag after disinfection of the skin of the genitals can be useful only if the culture is negative or if a single uropathogen is identified. However, a positive culture can result from skin contamination, particularly in girls and uncircumcised boys. If treatment is planned immediately after obtaining the urine culture, a bagged specimen should not be the method because of a high rate of contamination after with mixed organisms. A suprapubic aspirate generally is unnecessary. Pyuria, leukocytes in the urine, suggests infection, but infection can occur in the absence of pyuria. It can also occur without the presence of leukocytes in the urine. This finding is more confirmatory than diagnostic. Conversely, pyuria can be present without UTI. Sterile pyuria, positive leukocytes, negative culture occurs in particularly treated bacteria UTIs, viral infections, renal tuberculosis, renal abscess, UTI in the presence of urinary obstruction, urethritis due to a sexuality transmitted infection, inflammation near the ureter or bladder, and interstitial nephritis. Then, nitrites and leukocyte esterase usually are positive in infected urine. Microscopic hematuria is common in acute cystitis, but microhematuria alone does not suggest UTIs. WBC casts in the urinary sediment suggest renal involvement, but in practice these are rarely seen. If the child is asymptomatic and the urinalysis result is normal, it is unlikely that there is a UTI. However, if the child is symptomatic, a UTI is possible even if the urinalysis result is negative. Prompt plating of the urine sample for culture is important because if the urine sits at room temperature for more than 60 minutes, overgrowth of a minor contaminant can suggest a UTI when the urine might not be infected. Refrigeration is a reliable method of storing the urine until it can be cultured. Then, if the culture shows more than 100,000 colonies of a single pathogen, or if there are 10,000 colonies and the child is symptomatic, the child is considered to have a UTI. If a bag sample from catheter, if the urinalysis result is positive, the patient is symptomatic, there is a single organism cultured with a colony count more than 100,000, there is a presumed UTI. If any of these criteria are not met, confirmation of infection with a catheterized sample is recommended. With acute renal infection, leukocytosis, neutrophilia, and elevated serum erythrocyte sedimentation rate and C-reactive protein are common. Treatment. How we treat UTI? In acute cystitis, in acute infection of the bladder, should be treated promptly to prevent possible progression of pyelonephritis. Treatment is started pending result of the culture. If treatment is initiated before the result of the culture and sensitivities are available, a 3 to 5 days course of therapy with the trimethoprim sulfamethoxazole or trimethoprim is effective against most strains of E. coli. Nitrofurantoin 5 to 7 mg per kg 24 hour in 3 to 4 divided doses also is effective and has the advantages of being active against Klebsiella and E. coli organism. Enterobacter organism, amoxicillin 5 mg per kg 24 hour also is effective as an initial treatment but has no clear advantages over sulfonamide and nitrofurantoin. Then, in acute febrile infection, suggesting pyelonephritis. A 10 to 14 days course of broad spectrum antibiotics capable of reaching significant tissue levels is preferable. Then children who are dehydrated, are vomiting, are unable to drink fluid, are less than 1 month of age, or in whom urosepsis is a possibility should be admitted to the hospital for IV dehydration and IV antibiotic therapy. Parenteral treatment with ceftriaxone 50 to 75 mg per kg per 24 hour not to exceed 2 gram, or cefotaxime 100 mg per kg 24 hour, or ampicillin 100 mg per kg per 24 hour with an aminoglycoside such as gentamicin 3 to 5 mg per kg per 24 hour in 1 to 3 divided doses is preferable. Treatment with aminoglycosides is particularly effective against Pseudomonas staph, and alkalinization of urine with sodium bicarbonate increases its effectiveness in the urinary tract. Oral third generation cephalosporins such as cefixime are as effective as parenteral ceftriaxone against a variety of gram-negative organisms other than Pseudomonas, and these medications are considered by some authorities to be the treatment of choice for oral OPD patient or oral outpatient therapy. The oral fluoroquinolone ciprofloxacin is an alternative agent for resistant microorganisms, particularly Pseudomonas, in patients greater than 17 years, more than 70 years of age. It also has been used on occasion for short course therapy in younger children with Pseudomonas UTI. However, the clinical use of fluoroquinolones in children should be restricted because of potential cartilage damage. Then, a urine culture 1 week after the termination of treatment of UTI ensures that the urine is sterile but is not routinely needed. A urine culture during treatment almost invariably is negative. Then there is interest is probiotic therapy, which replaces pathologic urogenital flora, and cranberry juice, which prevents bacterial adhesion and biofilm formation, but these agents have not proved beneficial in preventing UTI in children. Recommendation for imaging. Previous guidelines have recommended routine radiological image for all children with UTI. Current evidence has narrowed the indication for imaging. Imaging studies. The goal of imaging studies in children with the UTI is to identify anatomic abnormalities that predispose to infection, determine whether there is active renal involvement or not, to assess whether renal function is normal or at risk. These information provided by the guiding imaging studies. Then imaging studies of lower urinary tract in children with more than one infection of the lower urinary tract, dysuria, urgency, frequency, suprapubic pain. Imaging is usually unnecessary. Instead, assessment and treatment of bladder and bowel dysfunction is important. If there are numerous lower urinary tract infections, then a renal sonogram is appropriate, but it rarely adds useful information. Thank you very much. I hope you have clear with this.